What's something women learn too late in life? That you can do fun things alone if you don't have a friend who shares that interest, and it's fine. You don't have to apply everyone's feedback. I remember reading an advice column way back when about a woman who was given feedback she thought was stupid from a man she thought was an idiot in a writing class or similar, and her notes to herself when considering his critique just read, "Rick is a dipshit." Years later, the "Is Rick a dipshit?" test remains a useful tool when considering certain people's, often unsolicited, opinions. Don't take critique from someone you wouldn't take advice from. You don't even have to consider it. My wife has been having a hell of a time lately because she's had a string of people giving her frankly rude unsolicited advice/feedback about her personality and the way she carries herself. Mind you, these are people in her company who hired her based on those traits. It's wrecked her self-esteem and confidence, and she is one of the most confident people I know. It's literally taken me weeks of reassuring her and building her up to get her to stop ruminating on their comments. Sounds like a pack of C*******s at her work. I bet they are jealous or can't find information, so they are trying to tear her down. I had this exact same issue at one of my jobs. They inherently wanted me to change who I am. I'm not the sit there and look pretty, kiss your ass, give a shit about your job title kind of woman, and never will be. I just do my job and the rest is background noise. This woman literally wanted me to suck up. My dad always told me to don't worry about criticism from people I wouldn't ask for advice. On the flip side, I feel like a wave of Reddit users don't even know how to take advice anymore. Someone will say, "This is how I handle these situations." And someone will respond, "How dare you try to force me to do that?" Or, "That's not guaranteed to work 100% of the time in 100% of situations. So you're a liar." It's like, bruh, calm down. That's not how this works. Don't take criticism from someone you wouldn't take advice from. That being nice won't protect you, and saying no doesn't make you mean. In the same vein, you don't owe anyone your time/conversation. This mostly goes with telling a man no, but can apply to other situations as well. The years I put up with people who made me feel uncomfortable because I was too nice to say no. I realized earlier this year that being kind is not equal to being everyone's best friend. In fact, that's the fastest way to burning myself out. I cut off a one-sided friendship that wasn't serving me, and I felt so much lighter afterwards. 100% the right call. Saying no after the kissing gets too heavy also does not make you a cock tease. It makes you a person with boundaries who isn't ready to go that far. That is all. I had a male, senior coworker tell me a few years back, "I admire your ability to say no." TBH, still one of my favorite compliments to this day. I have a hell of time trying to explain this to my MIL. She has a pathological need to be seen as nice to her own and sometimes her family's detriment. She gets walked all over and often comes across as insincere. Boundaries are necessary for healthy relationships. Saying no once in a while won't make your family abandon you, and it's okay to say you dislike someone even after death. In fact, being nice and polite will sometimes put you in further danger. Ted Bundy pretended to be injured to help lure strangers. Very much this. I'm 34 and still learning. 43 and I'm still learning. Exactly this. Don't set yourself on fire to keep someone else warm. There was a push to teach young women how to clearly communicate that they didn't want sex that dramatically reduced sexual assault. Unfortunately, the timing of the idea was very bad, and it didn't catch on because it was seen as contradicting other narratives about consent. A house you want to raise a family in is often not a house you want to retire in. Downsize before you're ready to retire. Also, don't leave your children with a giant disrepaired house full of the shit you've accumulated for decades to deal with when you die. Like both my parents did. They're divorced and each had their own place, so I dealt with that nightmare twice. Joke's on you, I can't afford the house I'd want to raise a family in. That crippling menstrual cramps, ridiculously heavy bleeding, and luteal phase panic attacks are not normal. Unfortunately, we also learned that a large majority of healthcare practitioners also believe those things are normal. Endo, COS, and PMDD are very real and not just normal period experiences. I will forever be grateful to the woman online who stepped in and told me that level of pain isn't normal. I absolutely thought it was normal, and she directed me to some place that could help me. I hope she is having a great day, every day. Luteal phase panic attacks. OMG, this is a thing? I thought it was just me and my GAD getting worse over time. I recently came off my Rena and my panic attacks have been unreal the last few months. The worst they've ever been, and now that I think about it I can map it out exactly with my cycle. Check out PMDD. Being treated for it literally changed my life. I have great success with continuous use. Yes, plus, it's an anti-androgenic type of progesterone, and actually makes me feel normal. Better than any anti-anxiety medication I have ever been on. Having my Nexplanon removed made it abundantly clear that my anxiety was not anxiety, and tracking my symptoms alongside my cycle is what made me figure it out. There was a clear correlation between luteal phase and panic attacks. Obviously everyone is different in terms of medication, but Yes Plus is the only FDA-approved birth control for PMDD, that crippling menstrual cramps, ridiculously heavy bleeding, and luteal phase panic attacks are not normal. Say it louder for the people in the back. Being in pain is never normal, and needs to be checked out, over and over again, until the reason is found. Never let anyone tell you different. I remember one of the most impactful things my GP said to me when I told her my pain hadn't been bad lately and just the normal amount. The normal amount of pain is none. I am so lucky to have an amazing GP who isn't of the labs are normal, so you are fine camp. I remember one of the most impactful things my GP said to me when I told her my pain hadn't been bad lately and just the normal amount. The normal amount of pain is none. So much of this. And it's so crazy that we so very often are told otherwise. I hope that effing asshat who came up with the whole curse of Eva shit rots in the deepest pits of hell. Yup, ABT 5 days post-op from endo-excision surgery. Turns out my fking ovaries have been fused to my abdomen among other things. I wanna go back and punch every single person that's made me feel dramatic or crazy. I have been in excruciating pain since I was 10W this disease. Also, the realities of perimenopause and menopause, and that you don't have to suffer through them. Yo FUCK perimenopause. I'm 33 years old and my OBGYN said it was too early, so I asked her to check my hormone levels to be sure. Sure enough, I got downvoted to hell some months back for saying that cramps were common but not normal. Just because a lot of women have menstrual cramps and we get desensitized by the medical world and sadly even other women, does not mean people should accept they have to live like that. Yes, I've had debilitating periods my whole life. The pain and bleeding affect my ability to walk and work. I'm usually bed-bound for at least the first 2 to 3 days. But most women in my life told me, that's normal, we all deal with it, so I just accepted it. I was finally diagnosed with adenomyosis at 25, and I've been using continuous birth control to treat it. My quality of life has gone through the roof since starting treatment. My doctor said most women don't know they have adenomyosis until post-hysterectomy when a biopsy is conducted. So many people just go their whole lives experiencing this pain and never know that it's a disease hurting them. To negotiate pay, and to apply for that role even if you are only 60% qualified. I'm so thankful to one of my female friends specifically. We met when she joined a law firm I'd been working at for a couple of years. They tried to lowball her and she negotiated hard. She ended up getting hired at $7,000 per year more than me. The firm responded by giving me an immediate raise to match her pay. I finally learned. I go in telling myself to act like an entitled guy. I ask for way more than I think is even close to reasonable and have gotten it every time. First time I was stunned, but it works. So go in with a big ask, they'll think you must be worth it or wouldn't ask. That running back to abusive men teaches your sons that there are no consequences for their actions and your daughters that their self-worth and safety is secondary to a man's happiness. Trying to just be skinny is eating your bones. Don't be looking to have double fractured femurs at 60. Eat and lift weights. This backhand index pointing up is one of the most important lessons of life and your bones will never strengthen unless you feed them. Yup, especially if you are already a petite, Caucasian female. Highest rates of osteoporosis. I am 26. Have taken calcium and vitamin D my whole life, have weight trained since I was 15 and my DEXA scans still indicate I will develop osteoporosis by age 70 simply because of my stature/being slightly underweight. And once you fall over a certain age, it's bad news. Also, continued exercise now is beneficial later in life because you might not need as much assistance with getting around and can help reduce the risk of falls. But you can't just start doing it when it's a problem. You should start exercising now. Financial awareness. Blind trust in a spouse's financial decisions never turn out good. Also, resolve the trauma on your own. You won't get apologies or resolution from the people who traumatized you, and if you don't do the work, you end up making it your whole personality, whether consciously or subconsciously. That saying no doesn't make you rude. A lot of women grow up being told to please everyone, then spend years unlearning it just to find peace. I have a rule now where I will say no once, and if they keep pushing I just ignore them. It took me until I was about 40 to do this. And I still feel guilty sometimes. This is actually very helpful advice, thank you. There is a whole book from the 1970s, still very useful, called When I Say No. I Feel Guilty. Handy self-help text on assertiveness, including how it differs from passivity and aggressiveness. One of the concepts that has really stuck with me is that not only is no a complete sentence, but the more you elaborate on your no, the more people will take it as an invitation to talk you into changing your mind. Also, the notion that everybody has the right to want what they want, with the understanding that you don't have the right to push it on others. There's nothing wrong with speaking up for what you want and rejecting what you don't want, within those boundaries. Makes me think about a passage from C.S. Lewis in the Screwtape Letters where a senior demon instructs a junior on how useful it is to replace the idea of charity with selflessness. Charity involves doing something actually for the other person, whereas selflessness only involves giving up what you wanted, so the idea is that a demon can cause an ongoing conflict between two people by having each of them offering to give up what they want to do and fighting over who's going to be the selfless one who gives up what they want to do. Without realizing they could just each state what they want to do and decide which way to go. Someone else's procrastination is not your emergency. Your partner isn't your life, they are a part of it. Yep. Known too many people whose personality just disappeared the moment they got married. Actions speak louder than words. They were hot their entire youth, but spend it being insecure. Or think you're fat when you're skinny and look back after aging/gaining weight and realizing you were actually skinny. I wish I was skinny as I was the first time I thought I was fat. 16 years old me had clearly defined abs, but if I tried hard enough I could pinch an inch of skin, so I was convinced I was fat. I wish I had the body I did when I thought I was fat in high school. I wish I had the body I had when I was actively being told I was fat. I was 132 pounds. I just have shit fat distribution. I remember when I first hit 50 kilograms. I cried the whole weekend and didn't eat anything proper for weeks. I know it wouldn't do shit against my eating disorders and the body dysmorphia, but I wish I could tell my younger self that I was just fine regardless my weight, that the only one with skewed perspective of myself was me. To not give a fuck. No is a complete sentence. Along with its equally useful cousin, reasons are for reasonable people. Attention is not value. That people just lie. All the time. Words are near meaningless. You are what you do, not what you say. To be nice to other women. Building other women up and forming community is so important. I don't trust women that hate other women. I wish we were friendlier to each other out in public. Like, most women aren't rude, we just mostly ignore each other. He wants to be with me all the time, and in control is not love. To make themselves the center of their lives. Yes, my instant thought was that you are the main character of your life. You are not just a supporting character in someone else's success story. Being assertive. I honestly believe this somewhat explains the Karen phenomenon, like it's a result of the overcorrection that happens when assertiveness isn't tempered by tact and empathy. To be more comfortable in our own bodies and to not envy others. To listen to ourselves more. Many of us. Learning to speak up for ourselves and stop tolerating bullshit. If your husband doesn't take care of you now when you're sick, he won't take care of you when you're old and infirm. This can lead to you dying early because you're relying on someone who simply doesn't consider your health and welfare his responsibility. Make sure the guy who expects you to literally wipe his ass will return the favor. Their value. You cannot. Nor is it your responsibility to fix him. He's not busy. He's not into you. Seeing a gynecologist at least once a year. Pretty much just a repeat of other people in the comments. Asterisk no is a complete sentence. Use it. Asterisk watch your diet. Cutting your quality of life and lifespan is not a good trade-off. Asterisk do what you want, don't feel forced into imaginary boxes and positions. Asterisk most people don't care about you in the slightest. Stop giving a fuck what random people think. Seek satisfaction from those you chose to make bonds with. Asterisk you will never be completely satisfied, just accept it. Have goals, delay gratification. Not everything needs to be now, and patience is a real thing. Asterisk stop worrying about things you have no control over and focus meticulously on those that impact you the most that you have direct influence over. Asterisk habits are real, not just some magical bullshit you hear from the gym bros on TikTok. Sleep schedules, meal plans, working out, etc. are insanely fucking important. The importance of honoring our own needs. Often women are socialized and taught from young age to put the needs of others first. It can be a lovely thing to do, but it should never be something that's a constant detriment to one's own needs. How their cycle works. I feel like this should be taught from a very young age because it affects every single day of our life. Not a woman, but from what I've heard you can ask for a smaller size speculum to be used on you at the gynecologist if it hurts because it's too big. Don't let them shame you because your pain is real and not any less deserving of pain management than men. Not to fake orgasms. Doing so only serves to boost the male ego and allows them to believe they did a great job. Telling them you just couldn't get there should be a message to them that somewhere They were not in tune with what worked and what didn't. Faking forces women to accept not being satisfied, or that is just a normal part of sex, while their partner has the impression that he's done his job. Guys, or women depending on the preference, can't learn if you don't communicate. Say what works and what doesn't. Guide or show, talk and communicate that there is more to life than raising children. This is not a rant on having children, but society makes women who want something else or something additional, be it career, child-freeness, hobbies, etc., to feel like bad people. That you aren't responsible for the emotional damage caused by other people. I learned late in life, but not too late, how to say no and not feel guilt. That sacrificing your entire life for a man is never worth it. Your romantic relationship should look and feel like you're enough and celebrated, and you shouldn't ever feel like you're just giving and giving and giving. Your appearance isn't you. You don't have to be pretty, thin, or any sort of shape to garner love and respect. You are intrinsically lovable, prioritizing herself over others. That you're not obligated to suffer in a relationship. Just because you want something to work out doesn't mean it should, or that your partner is equally committed. Being unhappy is reason enough to break up and move on. That being nice is not an obligation. We spend many years believing that we must justify each of our no's with a 3-paragraph explanation, for fear of being labeled difficult or intense. The greatest liberation is when you finally learn to say no, thank you, and feel at peace. It's a shame that it takes us so long to give ourselves that permission. A lot of women I've seen learn to disenter men far too late in life. That it's okay to disappoint others if it means not abandoning yourself. To love themselves for the beauty they were born with. We are all unique, and I wish, me included, that we loved ourselves more. Now that I am old, I go out of my way to compliment the beautiful young women I meet. They are precious, and I hope they meet someone worthy of them. Doctors cannot be trusted outright. I'm a 52-year-old guy, but it pains me how so many ladies feel they need to say sorry for so much tedium. I always try to respond with, there is absolutely nothing to be sorry for, or something supportive. I don't want to diminish, but also don't want anyone to feel like they've inconvenienced me and are required to atone for it. It's truly an odd aspect to US social dynamics. Conversely, my wife is European, and I'd be stunned if she apologized for accidentally cutting off my toe. You will rarely look better than you do now, so love yourself. Show off your body, because trying to achieve perfection is a waste of time. Aim for a healthy body, not a model's. You actually don't have to have sex with him if you don't want to. That social media and dating apps will distort your perception of reality and happiness. That mixed signals should always be interpreted as a no. That societal views don't mean shit in the end. Stop caring what others think. Lifting weights is good for every body. For longevity. For health. For satisfaction. How to choose yourself. First, you didn't have to marry a misogynistic right-wing clown. That their first bully was most likely their mother. Losers are never worth it. Having children is an option, not an obligation. I know too many women in my grandmother's generation who had kids because they thought they had to, not because they wanted them. They are shockingly supportive when I tell them I'm child-free. Not everything is your fault, and in the same breath, it is not your responsibility to fix everything. You do not have to be perfect to justify your existence or taking up space. Leave the relationship when it doesn't work out. Don't stay and try to fix things when he's not willing to work on them with you. Don't be a bang maid for a place to live. The younger you marry and have kids, statistically the worse off you'll be if it doesn't work out. No is a complete sentence. To tell more people, more often, to K off. To become financially secure and have their own independent life before getting married. The importance of taking care of our bodies. Strength training and eating right are paramount because of our increased risk of osteoporosis and loss of muscle tone. The sooner you start lifting heavy relative to you, the better. Women spend so much time taking care of others. We forget about ourselves. As much as it pains to say, many men, not all, don't like strong women. Whether it be physically, mentally, or emotionally. Don't ever shrink yourself to make a man happy. Find out what you like. And keep trying and finding new hobbies and interests. Very heavy periods and crippling cramps every month are not normal. Get checked out. Get a second opinion if needed. Advocate for yourself. Lifting weights and yoga helped my craps a lot. When I don't work out, it's unbearable. That we are so much better off on our own, without husbands and kids. And this is coming from a 29-year-old married and with kids. I adore them. I have a happy marriage, and I do love my life. But I truly think women learn too late that this life wasn't made for us. Bearing children. Yes, absolutely, but raising kids. Bearing the mental load, now having careers. Maintaining a marriage, being everything and not even without a village, but without other matriarchs and female support. It's not natural, and I truly don't think this is the life we were made for. There's something ancestral inside me that tells me women were meant to raise their children around other women. We love, support and guide each other. We teach each other and pass down our knowledge. We do it together. We weren't meant to be led by men. And I stand by that, especially as I get older. We were meant to raise men, and trust they will be our protectors, providers and our safety, but women were always meant to lead their worth and not to settle. I've known so many women who settled because they were afraid of being left out or being left behind. Just because someone falls in love with you does not mean you are required to love them back. I spent a great deal of my life thinking that if they love me, that's all that's required for us to be in a relationship and I should feel lucky to be loved. That saying, "Nah, this isn't good enough," will enhance your life greatly. It's better to be alone than in a bad relationship hoping it will get better. That many of their female friends don't actually like them all that much. Do not spend your money on him. Seriously, don't. Keep it for yourself. Reciprocity is one thing. Thinking that taking care of another will make them loyal to you, that's naive. That it is not our duty to keep everything calm and nice. We are not responsible for the good vibe or the peace. And we do not owe anyone a smile. You don't need a man for sex or orgasms. And you should never, ever, pretend to be, want, or give something to a man you don't enthusiastically want. Never lower your standards for anyone. Other women aren't the enemy. Some are, sorry, but women hurt other women just as ruthlessly as anyone. Lifting each other up is the direction all women need to take. That dressing modestly won't protect you from unwanted attention or worse. That peace is better than proving a point. I beg to differ. Let's fight. That you, they, are enough. That it's absolutely fine to be alone if it makes you happy. Believe actions, not statements. And believe them the first time. Also, "No" is a full sentence. Thank you is not necessary or appropriate for all situations. In the choice to pick someone, you can also pick yourself. Strong boundaries. Be ready and willing to walk away from a man or friend who crosses those boundaries, hurts you physically or emotionally, or disregards your feelings. Believe people the first time they show you who they are. It will not get better, only worse. I always hung on to relationships and friendships longer than I should have, and all that did was prolong the inevitable while making me unhappy and preventing me from finding better. And there is always better out there. Read the book, Why Does He Do That? By Lundy Bancroft. It will save you a lot of pain. Watch your weight and slow down eating crap and junk food, not to stay hot, but to stay healthy. I've been trying to lose the 100 pounds I gained since high school, now in my mid-50s. And it's been a huge struggle. I'm down 40 pounds, but it took me 4 years. My motivation is to not to be hot and look good, although that would be nice, but I don't want to end up with preventable chronic health issues, reduced, painful mobility, or worse. Being a large elderly person in a nursing home that workers pull their back out trying to flip me over to wipe my ass. TLDR, I wish I had the foresight to watch my weight better. That getting older and less attractive to immature men is a wonderful thing that should be celebrated. Finally, a little reprieve from the hornball stares and fewer filthy gropes. Don't settle down before your frontal lobe develops. What you want at 18 might not be what you want at 28. Not that I disagree with your sentiment, that frontal lobe thing you are talking about is a myth. The study quoted just only went up to the age of 25. In fact, other studies say your brain starts deteriorating in your 20s. Your brain develops and never stops changing throughout your life. There is no stop point, except death, I suppose. If you are interested in more, there is a good article written by a neuroscientist on Science Focus if you Google a brain development 25 myth. Not to judge other women's dreams. It's okay to dream of motherhood. It's also equally okay not to. You are responsible for your own feelings. Don't blame others, or wallow in self-pity. No one else cares how you feel as much as you do. The words and actions of others can have an impact on you, and maybe it's intentional. Most likely, though, it's not. You can't control others, but you can take responsibility for how you feel. If you are not happy, do something yourself. The car keys of your happiness belong in your own pocket. Instead of focusing on the outside covering, focus on your purpose, your character, morals and integrity to yourself. How important it is to experience the single life and living on your own. You truly learn how to love yourself and what you will and will not accept from a partner. He will never change. Setting boundaries. That you don't have to set yourself on fire to keep others warm. Your value doesn't lie in believing that you have to be a conveyor belt for others. That their value is not directly proportional to sacrifices they made throughout their lives. They are worth of every happiness and peace without being guilty. That the menopause for the majority of women will hit you like an oncoming freight train. I'm going through perimenopause now, and whoa baby, no one mentioned any of this. To find peace with their bodies. We are always worried, are we too tall, short, skinny, fat, have a but don't have one. It just goes on and on. What is crazy is that men are way more comfortable with their bodies. Small dick, big tummy and bald, and he walks around like a rock god. There is someone who will love you and your body. I say this as I am on a diet. Acting like a servant won't make a man love you. It might make him say all the right things to keep you around, but he won't respect you. Men talk shit constantly. Their worth. You don't need to settle, I'd add. And you should communicate your needs. You don't need to constantly put yourself last to be nice/please those around you. This is a recipe for being unhappy. That we need to put ourselves first. To stop dating deadbeats. Stop over-functioning in all your relationships. What it looks and feels like when you're being iced out. Our worth. Most guys at some point in their life will say anything to get his leg over. He's just not that into you. That no is a complete sentence. You don't need a man. Don't flush your women's products in the toilet. Signs of abuse, both how to recognize it in an abuser or the effects of it on the abused. Got a few to share. That foregoing your own foundational education, career and financial independence to be a tradwife may end up with you wasting years/decades on homemaking just to see the spouse cheat/dump you for a younger tradwife. And you having to start over and build these for yourself later on in life when you could really benefit from already having them. That having kids, even with a great guy, will likely result in you, the mother, bearing the greater burden and responsibility for taking care of them, as well as getting constantly judged in society for how you are failing to be a perfect ideal mother. While a dad can basically change a diaper once a year and be applauded as a great parent, having kids can really be an earthquake on your life and future lifestyle, and not a choice you can just reverse. Really truly think hard about what being a mother might mean for you and how it could change your life. Weigh the pros and cons with an open mind and accepting hard truths, and that there is not one 100% ideal path. Consider that emotions of loving your kids may not necessarily make up for the mental toll, stress and struggle. Consider that while regretting not having kids later in life could really be difficult, it may still be the lesser pain. There is no struggle-free path. That men aren't gods, and your life shouldn't be centered around whether or not you're attracting their attention/in a relationship. Leave your eyebrows alone. Men are not cars, you can't fix them up, so don't waste time trying. Just move on. Babe, you are not mature for your age. That older man is a creep. I'm mature for my age. Or rather, I was told I was mature for my age, when in reality anyone with eyeballs could tell just how young I was. Too many creepy men use, you look/are mature for your age, as a way to creep on young girls. Married, in a relationship, or single, always have a separate rainy day fund. Don't borrow from it, don't loan money from it, and don't let anyone know that you have it. Even if you can only afford $500 a month to deposit, do it. That men ain't shit and don't change. To invest in themselves and not men. A system which places all of a woman's worth on her youth and beauty only benefits mediocre old men. They want you to feel desperate, like your time and value is running out, so you'll settle for them when you're 23. There's a reason those older men don't marry women their age. Women their own age won't have them. You don't have to have kids in your 20s. That's a lie we've been told. Be a bitch. It will save you. Being nice didn't get me far. People pleaser here. I agree with this. Finally snapped and actually punched a grown man out for touching me when I begged him to stop countless times. He said it was okay, because he's Mormon. It will finally catch up with you and you will snap. Violence is not the answer, so be that bitch and make sure people know to back TF off. I'm not everyone's cup of tea, teacup without handle. But I don't care. Men are not the goal of life. Be your own person and enjoy your own life. Marriage is not the end of your dreams, passion, and hobbies. When it's time to compromise in dating, you aren't going to be able to fix, or be happy with, the super attractive asshole. That it's better to be alone and vibing than in a relationship and miserable. You can just choose to not focus on looking for your special someone, and enjoy living for the sake of living. It rocks. That it doesn't matter. Whatever it is at the time. The job, the weight, the situationship, the catty friend experiences, what you look like running for errands, the trends and expensive clothes. While they do hurt at the time, in the real long run, it doesn't matter. That you don't need to please everyone. You don't have to apologize for everything. After a while it felt like I was apologizing for my own existence. Descentaire men. That a leopard never changes his spots. That we should never, ever dim our light. A strong and fierce mind and spirit are the best things we can cultivate for ourselves. Self-respect. It took me years to understand that saying no is an act of self-respect, not malice. Your value is not determined by your attractiveness to men. Also, you aren't responsible for a man's ego. Your first love should be yourself. That the man in or close to his 30s that you pin yourself to when you're in your early 20s only exists to be a canon life event. A terrible one. Do not be impressed by men, especially in your 20s and especially if there is an age gap. Nice restaurants and random knowledge is a product of age, not sophistication. If a partner abuses you, there's often no going back, because you lose respect for them. Why would you want to be with someone you don't respect?